Chai with Manju, with your host, Dr. Manju Sheth.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Chai with Manju called Trailblazers, where we showcase those individuals who have carved their own path and made their unique dreams a reality. So, on that note, our special guest today is Dr. Swaroop Sampat Rawal. She's Miss India 1979, a very popular actress who changed the course of her life and became a pioneer of education in India. She was also the top 10 finalist in the very prestigious Global Teacher Award. Let's meet Swaroop. So, Swaroopji, welcome to the show. It's such an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Manju. Thank you very much. Even I'm very thrilled to be on the show. First of all, we've been to America so many times performing all over, and Boston's my favorite place. So,
We love that. So, you have had such an amazing, accomplished life. And let's start at the very beginning. You were the first girl to be born after 120 years in your family. Your father, Vachu Sampatji, was a very renowned actor, and your mom is a surgical oncologist. How did those early years help you in your life and career choices?
uh, it was really very interesting because, like I told you, my dad was sure I'm going to be a girl.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, surprisingly, he already thought of my name. And I don't know if you know, but I'm named after Jawaharlal Nehru's mother. Her
No.
name was Swaroop Rani. And
Okay.
so he had decided that my daughter's name would be Swaroop.
Uh-huh.
And he came and met me and he says, "Oh, she looks so cute, blah, 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 blah." And immediately went to the school and filled up the form.
Oh
And
my
that, yeah, I mean, he filled up my form when I was about an hour old. And that made me realize how important schooling is.
yes. Yes.
Schooling is important, to be, like go to school and, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
It's a
it's not only
foundation.
about, yes, it's not only about academics. There's a lot of other things involved in it.
Yes.
The socialization that happens, the values that you inculcate in your school days from your teachers and your school. And, so all that. And then my dad was in theater, so every day we would be going to, not every day but every weekend we'd go to the theater and see plays from backstage. And I think that's one of the reasons I never wanted to become an actress, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely wanted to do theater. And I wanted to be, do sets and costumes and maybe direct a play and do the lighting and, be
Wow.
a producer and,
Exciting.
all that.
Uh-huh.
My dad was who I've learned everything from. Then, another thing which happened is that my mom, she taught me something very interesting. My mom is a university topper, and
Okay.
she was so clever that when she went to fill up the forms in the hospital, I mean, the college, they said, fill up the form right now, pay the fees, and then go. You've got your admission. So, she was so intelligent, and she was working in this beautiful hospital called Tata Memorial Hospital, which is one of the best cancer hospitals in
Mm-hmm.
Southeast Asia, and all this area around there. And, you know, it's a very difficult hospital to work in because there are lots of poor people who come there. And, some of her friends opened laboratories of their own and would make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom stayed in that hospital and she said, I want to do something for my country and I
Wow.
want to do something for the people of my country.
Wow.
And I think that's one of the reasons, I had it in me that, I can do something for my country by being a good citizen and by following whatever profession I do. So that was something I learned, in my childhood. And I think that was a very important lesson I learned.
You were Miss India in 1979. You were a beloved actress, of course, with Ye Jo Hai Zindagi. And you had a fantastic, lucrative career, but you left that to get married and have children. So when you look back in your life, do you wish that you'd done things differently?
I did not really leave everything. I got married, and since I was going around with Paresh, I was going steady with him for 12 years. We decided not to wait and have kids. Well, obviously, when you have kids, you cannot possibly go to work again. But I was doing this lovely series called Baby J when my son was just 5 months old or 6 months old.
Okay.
And after that, I had my second, well, we did one of our best plays at that time after I got married, which is called Maharathi.
Okay.
It was one of, in fact, we started our own theater company
Mm-hmm.
called Playtime and, called Angikam. And we started making plays, which either Paresh directed or at least they were all produced by me.
Okay.
And then I had my second son, Aditya, and I still was working in a very, very big series called All the Best. It
Okay.
is one of, it was, it went on for nearly 4 years till we really got tired of doing it. And it was a countdown comedy show.
Okay.
So I was already doing that, and I had taken a decision that I would only do one series at a time
That makes
because
sense.
Paresh was very, 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 very busy at that time. And I did not think it was important. Like everybody can't be all over the place. The other thing is that I was at that age where I was a little old to play the lead role,
Mm-hmm.
and I was too young to play the mother
Mm-hmm.
because I tried doing one film where I played the mother, the hero's mother, and the cameraman says she looks as old as the heroine. That makes it very, very awkward. So I decided not to do it. Like I thought I'd just take a break and maybe grow older and do stuff.
You're different. Now, when you mentioned PTA, I was reading that when you were the chairperson of PTA, and that's when you got involved in special ed, and that basically changed not just your life, changed so many lives because then you worked with UNICEF, you've been teaching in remote villages in Gujarat and Maharashtra, and of course you got a PhD in education in Worcester in England. Now, you've tell us more about your work that you've done as an educator in so many years, last few years, and what is the most satisfying part for you in that line of work?
So this was very interesting. Is that I was the chairperson of the PTA, and there was this institution which was starting training for teachers and parents in
Mhm.
learning disabilities. So well, nobody went for it.
Uh-huh.
And I said, okay, I'll go. Because you know what had happened, Manju? Something very interesting had happened.
Mhm.
I had gone to teach because I had a lot of spare time. And now my kids were a little older and, going to proper full time school. Um, I went to this institution of the deaf and the dumb. And I thought I would, work with the kids and teach them social skills.
Okay.
But I found that I didn't know anything about the deaf and the dumb. And I was like a nanny or a nursemaid,
Mhm.
that 1 hour. And I thought that is very silly. I don't want to waste my time doing something like this.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I got this offer
Mhm.
to, learn about learning disabilities. So
Mhm.
I thought, I'll go and learn and help my children's school. Because, if you have one resource person who knows about learning disability, it always helps. Especially during exam times and, things like that. So as it is, as a parent, we used to go and supervise during exams and, help out the school in whichever way we could. And I started learning about that and I got a distinction in the course. So the person I was interning with, she said, why don't you use drama to teach? Now, there was me thinking, I have, stopped doing theater and I don't want to do this. I want to be a proper teacher. So she says, you can still be a proper teacher, but why don't you try this? So I tried it. And within, I had the most incredible group, Manju. You would just really, be shocked to know. I had one child who was mentally challenged, one slow learner, one with aphasia, two with hyperactivity disorder, and two with learning disabilities, mild and severe. And you know, now each of them improved in this 1 year. In the senses, they became more confident. They could communicate
Wow.
well. They had, they were motivated to learn. And I thought this is great. So there's a long story in between, but that doesn't matter. I'll just cut it out, edit it, and tell you that I applied to this university in England, and I asked them for a short 3-month course in
Yes.
how to use drama to teach. And they wrote back to me and they said, with a CV like yours, would you consider doing a PhD?
That's amazing.
It is. And Manju, I am a typical Indian middle class mom. I'm thinking that I want my kids to study ahead, and I am at 14 not going to start studying. So I said no. But you know what? Guess what? They gave me a full scholarship,
Wow.
and they just made it impossible for me to say no to them. So I landed up doing a PhD.
So important. Now, let me ask you, you are such an empowered woman. When we think about you, when we watch you, you have that a confidence that comes from inside. You really do. And at least that's what
Thank
you
you.
look like to the rest of the world. There have also been some very important men in your life. Your dad, as
My
you said,
husband
and your husband, of course, he's a renowned
and my sons.
actors. Yeah, your husband is a Paresh Rawal, of course. Paresh
Yes.
Rawalji is a renowned actor. Your two sons. What role have men played in your success, if any?
I think whatever I am is because of my dad. But then again, I met my husband at a very early stage in my life. I met him when I was 16. So my dad was like with me and with him too. We would travel together to do theater and things like that. So Paresh was, and if you go to our library now, you will, my kids always find that very funny, is they find books of like got 1975 Swaroop and Paresh. So, we bought books together and we saw films together and, everything was about it. So he was the one person who is a great support to me. There's something very beautiful about what he told me. A name is a very important thing. I always teach that in life skills. Your name is very important, it's your identity. And, I met him when I was very young. So I used to just sign Swaroop because I thought if I write Sampat, I'd probably have to change it to Rawal. And, so
Yeah.
I just kept on writing Swaroop. And when we got married, so I said, I guess now I'll have to write Rawal. And he turns around and he says, no, I don't think so. I think you should continue writing Swaroop Sampat because it doesn't matter what you write, you're still mine. And you will still be the same person. So why do you want to change it to Rawal and let it be Swaroop Sampat?
Uh-huh.
So I left it at that. And then when I had my kids, and he used to love the way I was with my kids. And he was very busy, he used to do 3 shifts in a day. And, he was really coming up at that time. And one day he told everybody in the family that actually I think we should change the boy's surname to Sampat because Swaroop does more for them than I do for them. So of course we didn't, but you see, just that thought, I think
Right.
it's beautiful. And when my kids grew up, they would tease him a lot, and they would say, "Why does she write Sampat? Don't you mind her writing Sampat?" And they were young boys, and they said, he said no. But I remember when I was filling up the form for my doctorate, my PhD, my younger one comes to me and says, "Mom, would you write Rawal, please?" Because the Sampat family already has a doctor, and the Rawal family doesn't have a doctor. So I mean, can you imagine that? So I said, okay. And that's the first time I really wrote in a form that was mine, Rawal. But there was something very beautiful about them. And I remember once, when Paresh became an MP and he was so busy and so much happening. And, one day he was so angry in the house and he says, how much am I supposed to do? Blah, 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 blah. And Aditya turns to him and in the softest voice says, even she works.
Wow.
And I thought that is something, So, yeah, so the support I got from my kids, is incredible.
So what's next for Swaroop? Picture to abhi baki hai dost.
Yes, lots to do, isn't it? So much. Well, now I am doing some super work. Something so interesting is that, as you know, I teach through drama. Now, in COVID-19 days, yeah, physical distancing, where's the question of teaching through drama? We're teaching online. So, guess what I do? I use cinema in the classroom.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm finding new ways of teaching and, to excel in education. And of course, to do films like I did Uri and Kiyanka.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Saptapadi.
theatre. Yeah, Saptapadi, yes. And yes, in fact, I'm doing a very super, what is it called? Comedy thriller.
And you have the joy of life, that optimism. When you talk to you, it's just you're full of peace and joy. So that makes my day to interview you.
Oh, thank you, Manju. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much. All the best to you too.
Thank you.